So why do I still want to be a content creator in 2024? Not too long ago, I read the Thinkific e-learning trends report, and one of the first things that stood out to me was them mentioning a deep dive that Goldman Sachs, an investment banking company, did on the creator economy. And the researchers at Goldman Sachs predicted that the creator economy by 2027, so in the next 3-4 years, will grow to over $480 billion. That's $500 billion. That's 9 zeros. And all I could find myself thinking about is if I started now, I could put myself in a position to capture a portion of that. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't have to be anything huge, just a tiny slice of the cake so that I can live a life of more freedom, not having to worry about money and do more of the things that I want to do. In the past, I tried my hand at starting different businesses, but never with much success. And those failures came with a lot of frustrations, a lot of feelings of self-doubt, wondering if I'd ever be able to create a business that allows me to live a life on my own terms. And the reason I've been so determined on starting a business of my own was because of a pattern I'd noticed and seen happening time and time again while I was working a job, while I was working in corporate. And the pattern was this. I'd start a new job and I would be super excited. I'd even be happy because my brain was being challenged again. I was being stimulated and I just felt like I was progressing. But after some months, once I started to get the hang of things, the work for a large part would become very repetitive and sometimes even mind-numbing. Now and again, an interesting project would come along, but once that was over, it was back to square one, doing that repetitive work over and over again. So what changed? What changed now that makes me say I still want to be a creator in 2024? Now, first of all, it's the understanding that if I want something to be different, if I want my circumstances to change, I needed to do something different. And the first thing I needed to do was open my eyes to see how the world has been changing. And with the advances that has been happening in the technological space, just think about the rise of AI, ChatGPT, etc. It would only become a matter of time before the repetitive tasks that I was doing would start to be replaced. And now that might not mean that I would lose my job right away, but it would mean an impact on my earning potential going forward. And if I am trying to create a life where I have more freedom, I have more time, I want to do, more of the things that I want to do, I needed to start building wealth. And so here are the 3 things, and we'll call them the pillars of understanding, that I needed to understand and literally etch into my mind if I want to set the foundation that will allow me to create wealth over the next 5 to 10 years and be able to tap into a tiny portion of that $500 billion industry or opportunity. So if this is something that you want to do too, then you might find some value in this. Now let's get into it. Here are the 3 pillars of understanding. The first is the understanding that in today's age, you can make money by being yourself. 2 is understanding that people will pay you for something they want but don't know how to get yet. And the last thing is understanding that there are more tools available today that help you leverage the opportunity the internet provides. Now, of course, there are many more factors that will help you create wealth and that come into play, but these are the top 3 that came to mind when I started thinking about creating wealth. Now, I'm not going to go into all of these 3 areas in depth. I'll save that for other videos. But today, I just wanted to touch base briefly on each of them. So understanding that in today's age, you can make money by being yourself comes down to understanding that you as a human, you do things. You have different hobbies, you have different interests, you have different passions, problems, challenges, and so on and so on. And some of these things that you do are valuable and people will find value. That's why if you've been following me on either Instagram or Threads, you will see I'm quite obsessed with this idea of building your personal brand, because I truly believe it starts with building your personal brand, the reputation that you're putting out, establishing what you want to be known for so that you can start attracting such opportunities. Now, when it comes to people paying you for something they want but don't know how to get yet, I like to first think of this idea. This idea that if you are struggling with a problem or you have a certain challenge that you're facing, that there's a good chance that there's not one, not two, but thousands of people who may be facing something similar. And it can literally be whatever. To give some examples, some quick examples that you might not have thought on. Someone may not be sure what type of equipment to buy if they want to start working out at home. Someone who wants to scale their business, but they're stuck in a manual way of tracking their administration, maybe in Excel or even on paper. Or someone wants to build more connections in person, but they have no clue where to begin with their wardrobe. And if you have solved such problems for yourself, that in itself right there, without you doing anything else, that's value. So there's a very good chance someone would pay you for that value. Now, what you need to do is to create a system of capturing some of that value so that you can offer to someone else, and in exchange, they pay you. And now lastly, understanding that there are more tools today that help you leverage the opportunity the internet provides. You don't have to think too far. If you have access to a phone, a laptop, internet, you're already in a position to use these to your advantage. Now, although some people would say they refuse to use AI, ChatGPT, because they crave more authentic content. They want more authentic connections, more authentic conversations. Fact remains, AI still remains a tool that you can leverage to help you increase your output and actually be a lot more productive. So all in all, why I'm still super excited to be a content creator in 2024 moving forward, this is why. And here's a bonus tip or a bonus understanding. Content is the underlying connector of all of these different points, so all of these different understandings. And this is what I mean. If you want people to give you money, people need to know about you first. And for that to happen, you need content. And people won't just give you money like that. You first need to create a desire in them that makes them want to give you money. And in order to accomplish that, you need content. And once you've created that desire, now you need to let them know about the thing you have that's going to help them. And yes, you guessed it, for that you also need content. So if you thought this was super insightful or just insightful and interesting, be sure to subscribe. Stick around as I continue to share more about how I'm navigating this space moving forward and how things are going to continue unfolding and help you along the way.